The recently Halo Infinite multiplayer released on November 19th, and with the Halo Infinite campaign launching today, I felt like it was a really good time to give an honest review of Infinite's multiplayer. In this video, we're going to be going over the good, the bad, and the ugly of what we've seen so far in Halo Infinite. So let's start with the pros. The first pro being the game is just fun. I mean, I don't think I've played a game multiplayer-wise recently that has gripped me in the way that Halo has. I feel like I am once again playing Halo 3. I just got off the school bus. I'm locking in with my friends, and we're going to play Halo for the next 8 hours. It feels like that when I get home from work now. Obviously, I've grown up quite a bit since then, but it just feels so reminiscent, and I think 343 has done an incredible job of really capturing and encapsulating that feel that we had once when we played Halo. And I understand that there's been love and hate for the Halo franchise the last 10 or so years, but I feel like we've really gotten back to a great point after being in a market full of battle royales and RNG factors that do determine who wins and who loses. It feels like we've gotten to a point where we've come full circle, and I think 343 really understands now what the Halo fan base wants. The game just feels so fun with your friends. It feels like whether you're playing ranked mode or a big team battle or the Fiesta mode that was recently put in, I feel like it's a game that everybody can have fun on. If you want to get sweaty and play ranked, you totally have that. We have split input ranked mode, which we don't see on anything. And if you haven't really been keeping up with the multiplayer gaming space, it's one of the hottest issues that comes up. If you're on Twitter or anything like that ever, you're going to see the aim assist debate, the great debate that divides everybody. At one point, everybody just loved games, and we just wanted games to be fun. And I've even lost my way after taking games more seriously and getting into content creation and trying to become a professional and all these things, but I think I've forgotten what really made games fun for me in the first place, and it was just being able to get on and lock in and just play with my friends or play with, my friends that might take the game a little more seriously. I have that option in Halo Infinite where I don't feel like I have it in other games. If I play Apex with my friends and we play in a public match, they can't even have fun because they aren't on the same skill level as me, but the entire lobby is out there playing ALGS. For the finals, they're out there trying to win $1 million, and my friends don't have fun doing that. So it's been really nice getting back into a game where I can have my more casual friends who just get to play for a little bit after they get off work and enjoy it with them and not just want to rage the entire time. And I think the map design for Halo Infinite is incredible. It feels like I'm playing on those Halo 3 maps, on those maps that everybody really loved, those quick, fast-paced maps. And there is one capture the flag map that I don't think should be in there, and it knows what map I'm talking about. That map is dog of meat. Terrible, horrible. Great big team battle map, definitely not a capture the flag map, but can't win them all. So I think maybe if we can get that out of the ranked pool, I'll enjoy it a lot more. But it just feels so good. I keep coming back to that point. It just feels you spawn and you can predict enemy spawns and they can predict yours, and it feels fair in that way that there's a strategy to it. There's thinking and forward planning that goes into a lot of it. From somebody who's played BRs for the last 2 years, it feels so nice to have that arena feel back, especially after Overwatch has kind of just fallen off the face of the earth. It is something that is truly magnificent, and hats off to 343 for getting it ironed out the way that they have. I know they've had to face a lot of adversity and feedback and things from over the years. Hats off to them on the map design. I think my favorite one is definitely Streets. I don't know if you agree, but let me know what your favorite map is in the comments below. I decided back in October that I would be done with Apex Legends for good and moving to Battlefield and starting my content career in Battlefield when 2042 launched, and I was playing Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1. I was playing all those just to get myself hyped up and amped up and engrossed into the Battlefield world. And then I got into the beta for Battlefield at 2042, and I thought it was just amazing. The movement felt great. There were bugs, but I knew that they would get ironed out. Every Battlefield launches with bugs, right? So that's what everybody said. The weapons felt good. The assault rifle felt good. Specialist was kind of questionable. And then the game full launched recently, and it was the worst game I've ever played. I put about 40 something hours into it, and I haven't touched it since Halo came out. It is dead to me. I've uninstalled it off my computer because Halo is a game that works. Sure, it has a couple issues here and there that we'll get into later, but the game just feels so good when you're playing it. In ranked mode, it feels good to win. In hubs, it feels great to win. In private matches, if you can get them to start, but we'll get into that later too. It feels good. It feels good to just play with friends and have a good time. And I think that's something that team at 343 has really gotten down now in this game, and I can't wait to try out the Infinite campaign, which we'll do a review of obviously later as well, and maybe a playthrough on stream if you don't follow me, twitch.tv/RhythmActual. But getting more into it, the server stability feels really great when you get put on the correct server. There are times where you might get like an EU server or other region transfer server and you'll have like 200 ms, and that feels terrible because your PR shots don't land. But hey, you know what, it happens. I'll take that because that's something that can get ironed out. It doesn't feel like it's a core gameplay mechanic that's wrong. It just feels like some server issues and some routing issues. Compared to, you know, some of the other games that have launched this year, I think the Halo Infinite multiplayer is a absolute knockout of the park home run. I mean, the crossplay feels pretty good. I will say though, controller feels a little bit too strong right now. I know there was a data chart that was going around for a bit. I've even gone back to playing on controller after playing mouse and keyboard for almost the last 3 years since Apex Legends came out. I feel like I shouldn't be able to pick up the controller and just instantly climb to Onyx and things like that. I think I should have had a bit more of a learning curve, but the aim assist just feels like getting 4 or 5 bursts is way too easy right now. So I think maybe we could tone that down a little bit, but outside of that, the crossplay is pretty great, and it's definitely something that you can play with your friends if they're on console, or if they're, you know, you're on PC or they're on controller and you're on mouse and keyboard. Even though there is that split input option when you're playing crossplay, everybody in the lobby is playing crossplay, so that's also, you know, a good factor. If you're on console and you don't want to play with mouse and keyboard players, that's totally fine. You have that option, and I think that that's something that we need to see in the industry completely in these multiplayer games that they are forcing crossplay on. I think it's definitely a cool feature, and it's something that people have wanted for years and years and years. So now that it's becoming the industry standard, that's great. But with the way that aim assist works and things like that, I think in terms of competitive integrity, just for everybody's mental health and not arguing about it, and you have your whole arm, and no, you using artificial intelligence to like, you know, you see some of the most wild arguments on Twitter. I think both inputs have a skill ceiling, and it's very hard to reach it. So it does feel great in that regard that you have the option. If I don't want to play against mouse and keyboard players because I'm playing on controller, I just solo duo controller only. If I want to play mouse and keyboard with friends who are on mouse and keyboard, we just mouse and keyboard. We don't have to worry about going against controller. It definitely feels great in that regard that they've given us that option, especially when that's not the industry standard to split the inputs like that. And now that we've kind of hyped up the core gameplay mechanics, I do want to get into the cons, with the first being the lack of playlists. I think the fact that we don't have a direct Slayer playlist or a direct team swap playlist or duo playlist, like not having any of those in the game is just so weird. It feels bad. It feels bad that when I play quick play, I have to play all these objective-based game modes with people who might not have their mics on. I get enough of that in ranked. I don't want to do that in quick play. I want to have like a Slayer mode or a team swap mode, something that I can really just relax and have fun, you know? On the topic of the game modes, Sketch from 343, who is the community manager, did mention on Reddit on December 4th. He quoted, "As for Slayer itself, we are still discussing around feasibility. Yes, this is absolutely a hot topic and something the team is aware of. We would love to have modes and experiences that meet players' expectations versus the backlash situation that we're in today. I don't believe anyone at 343 thought not having Slayer was a good idea. The launch playlists were set up as they were to take a measured approach. We have UI limitations with the game right now in the way and number of playlists that are exposed. We have complex and not ideal progression and challenge systems intertwined in playlists and modes that are not necessarily trivial to decouple and change. Yes, the entire challenge and progression system needs a lot of work, something the team is acutely aware of and prioritizing. The team's plan for the Slayer playlist, I think, are more robust than what might suffice for an interim solution. I love the ideas and some of the variants they're working on. Those all require tuning and, most importantly, testing. QA is a huge development and is a critical part of the development pipeline that has been running non-stop for months to launch this game. We are reevaluating what it would take to potentially just start with a vanilla Slayer playlist as a short-term addition until the more robust offering is ready. I think the main hurdle that needs to be addressed and may require more time than is feasible before the holiday break is the knock-on effect of challenges and needing to also reassess quick play and what that becomes. Historically, a Slayer-only playlist and an objective-only playlist has always resulted in the objective playlist quickly becoming unhealthy, but maybe we inevitably have no choice but to go down that route until more robust systems are available. Note, I am not a MP or systems designer. And while that's all good and fun, I find it really hard to believe that Noah was like, man, we should have a Slayer playlist. it just doesn't seem real in that regard. And sure, there might be like a UI limitation or something like that under the surface that we don't know about, which I understand that, but why was that not brought up prior to the game coming out? Why didn't we have that discussion on launch? Why didn't we have that discussion where the roadmap is for where the team's going next and when we can expect that Slayer playlist and things like that? And I feel like they could have involved the community a lot on this to find like a happy medium. I understand what he's saying about the objective only playlist always results in the objective playlist quickly becoming unhealthy, but here's the thing: you have a ranked mode that is an objective playlist. Okay, so you have your Slayer playlist with, you know, Team SWAT, and that's just the game modes that you're just getting kills in. You have your quick play playlist, which is a little grab bag of everything, and then you have your ranked playlist that encompasses all those objective based games, right? So even if your quick play, you know, where people are going to go to learn the objective, you know, modes, the maps and things like that, those are going to eventually feed into your ranked playlist that is going to become healthy. And the healthier your ranked playlist and your competitive scene and your streamers and things like that, the more you bring in casual players, and those casual players now are going to go to that objective playlist so that they can learn how to play ranked and things like that. It's okay to have that divide, and you should have that divide. The game should be fun for casuals all the time. They should be able to pick what they want to play. I've recently started working full time, and I start at 8, and sometimes I don't get home till 8 p.m. and it's like I don't want to play ranked, but I want to BR start. Why can't I play Team SWAT? Why is that game mode not in the game? And that is a truly frustrating part of Halo Infinite multiplayer. Now, thankfully, I really enjoy ranked, and I love having a grind and something to play for and getting elo and things like that. Even though it's just imaginary numbers on my screen, it gives me a feeling of success and things like that that I enjoy. So I prefer to play that ranked when I do get a chance to play anyways. So for me, it's not necessarily the biggest hinder to me playing Infinite, right? I'm not going to quit playing the game because I'm just going to play ranked anyways, but it would be really nice to have a mode where I can just have Team SWAT. I can just relax and, you know, have shoddy snipers as a game mode and fun game modes like that the game is currently lacking. Something else that is really concerning with Infinite's multiplayer so far is the microtransactions are completely debauched. I mean, we had a battle pass and things like that were put in the flight test, and they've been completely changed and taken out a lot of the, you know, cosmetics and things that were originally in there, and now they have a price tag on them. And I think that's really unfair and disingenuous, not to mention greedy, for a game that has had success like Halo has. I understand that the multiplayer is free to play now, which is great because it opens up the avenue for more players to play, and some people might not necessarily enjoy that it's a free to play game now, but I think in the current market of games that don't release free to play don't succeed. Realistically, the free to pay model has become a bit of a hindrance on a lot of things, and to be honest, I think the gaming community is at fault for that more than 343 is in that regard. I've seen a lot of games come out that were incredible, but because they weren't free to play, they immediately got the axe, and I don't think that's necessarily fair, but that's what they have to do to keep the franchise alive. Now, I do think that they're being incredibly greedy and overreaching their bounds on, you know, the prices in this store. I mean, $20 for some of these skins that you don't even get the full skin, you're just getting a piece, is pathetic. It's truly sad that we've gotten to this point where they're no longer microtransactions. These are full-blown purchases. Microtransactions used to be, I buy a $2.50 USD key for my CSGO box and I have a chance of getting an item, or I'm gonna open a couple boxes on Overwatch and maybe I'll get a legendary item, but I could choose to pay you know $5 or things like that. Instead of, now we've gotten to this point where all of these games are doing it. They put a skin in that's a simple recolor or it has a little feature on it, and then they throw a $20 price tag on it. I mean, come on, like, what are we really doing? If you have a skin that is absolutely magnificent, I think this is where Smite, and I know I might get in trouble for saying this, a lot of people aren't huge fans of high-res, but I think they do an insane job with some of the skins that they put in the game. The Aang skin made me play Smite, and I never really liked Smite, but once I had Aang, and it felt like I was playing a whole new character, even though the kit was the same as Merlin. To me, that is a good cosmetic. It doesn't change the game, but it feels like you're getting something new out of it, and we don't get that really anymore. And a lot of these multiplayer FPS third-person shooters, the skins are lazy recolors that really don't change anything, and people are still buying them, which is insane to me. So I think that is another really big takeaway. For the cons is just the cosmetics, and the battle pass is really not worth it anymore. I would honestly say the only skins that I think are worth money are the HCS skins, which is awesome because those skins actually go directly to supporting prize pools for the Halo professional scene, which, you know, if you don't play Halo that way but you like to watch Halo, these skins are great. $10 and I get a good Envy skin that I get to support my favorite org, and I get to support their players, and I think that's a really fair takeaway. But the rest of the cosmetics don't match that energy, and that is, in my opinion, one of the biggest takeaways. Please don't spend money on this game until they figure it out. You know, they have said that they hear us on that. Sketch has said not everyone likes that Infinite is a free-to-play game and thus a new business model based on monetization of customization. I understand where you're coming from, especially with 20-year established franchise with a long-standing legacy. Free-to-play has been a huge boost to growing a player base, and we've seen a huge amount of new players entering the franchise for the first time. But this is a business. The servers you play on cost money to operate. The studio that develops and maintains the game costs money. Battle Pass and premium customization is the model for this game today. Is there room to continue assessing the overall economy and value for players? Absolutely. And that's also an area the team is constantly monitoring and learning. Creation of cosmetics in the Battle Pass have absolutely nothing to do with something like a playlist. That content was created ages ago, is static, and wasn't done instead of playlists. Was it a priority to make sure the game could in fact generate revenue? Of course. So they're aware that we're not happy with the cosmetics, and I think it's fair to say, you know, that it is a business, because it is, and they do have server costs and things like that. But I think it is a bit of a slap in the face to the community to expect someone to pay $20 for the color purple. Get out of here, man. Like that's ridiculous, and nobody at that studio could look me in the eyes if they wanted to and say that that's a fair thing to do. I changed the color of some pixels on your screen. Here's my PayPal, send me $20. Absolutely not. That takes me to my next point. Our last and final con that I kind of want to talk about here is the cheating issue currently in Halo Infinite. I've basically completely stopped playing the crossplay mode because there are so many PC cheaters in there, and I am also a PC player on controller, so I am currently basically only running duos in the controller only playlist because I just can't be bothered to play against the cheaters. And that's not to say that there aren't cheaters in the crossplay playlist. There are PC players who are walling or aimbotting on controller, but they're hiding it a little bit better. But I've definitely ran into less cheaters in that playlist than I do in the open playlist, which really sucks. It sucks that we've gotten to this point in gaming where there is really no good anti-cheat to go against anything. As I said earlier in the video, I've played Apex since the launch. I played it professionally, and to think that game, you know, I could never tell. Eventually it got to a point where I always wondered, did that person really outgun me or were they cheating? There's no anti-cheat that can really ever figure it out, and certainly not easy anti-cheat. Terrible anti-cheat. But moving forward, we did have communication from Unishek that let's talk about cheating. Unfortunately, cheating is a natural part of supporting a free-to-play PC game, and it's one we anticipated. It'll never go away entirely, but we're prepared and committed to releasing consistent improvement to our game systems and taking action on bad actors. Please report bad actors on the Halo support site using the link below. We know having a report player feature in-game is desired, but please use this method to file reports for now. Also include video evidence, making things easier on the Halo safety team. Here's where I get a little upset when it comes to the cheating problem and things like that. This whole post just seems like it's so disconnected. Like, unfortunately, cheating is just going to happen. Haha. You know what I mean? And I'm sure that's not what he meant by that. I think he's been doing a great job of communicating with everybody and putting out great news and things like that out there for Halo. But I think that this in particular is one thing that really fires up gamers and people who play games online, because the competitive integrity just kind of gets lost. And I mean, I understand that, you know, there's no easy fix to cheating. It's an ever evolving thing, but it would be really nice to know that there is more than just, haha, it's going to happen. Hopefully you guys can report them fast enough. Like, it's like, why do we have to report every single cheater? Like, what is the anti-cheat in this game? What are the steps that the team's making? And I know they can't say everything, but I would just love a little bit more communication on, like, we are completely aware of this and we are going to find a fix for it. Give me something, or maybe not even something so hard concrete, but just something more than, yeah, it's a free to play game, so what'd you guys expect? Like, that doesn't sit very well with me. He did continue on to say, jumping in to clarify that the wording of improvement to game system includes not only our anti-cheat, but the rest of the game as well. It's worded that way because we don't take a single feature approach, but a game-wide approach to anti-cheat. So maybe they do have something in store. Only time will tell, but right now there is a bit of a cheating problem in the crossplay playlist. If you see them, totally follow this tweet's direction and report them in. But as of right now, that's something that you should definitely be expecting if you're going into that Halo multiplayer experience. So now that we've talked about the good and the bad, I think it's time to wrap the video up a little bit here, and I do want to say that I might have gone off on a little bit of a tangent on the cons. There are things in there that I feel very passionately about, and I see so much potential in Halo Infinite's multiplayer. Like, I can't stop playing it. I'm addicted, and every time I get a chance, I put my controller in my hand and I get to work in the ranked playlist. But it's really important, though, that the cons are highlighted for new players who might be coming in, and the honesty and the transparency needs to be there as well. I think this game is magnificent. You should absolutely play it. It's free for the multiplayer, even if you don't want to play the campaign. But what's stopping you from trying it? I highly suggest it, but it's important that you go into it with an open mind and understand that there's definitely issues that are being worked on. Maybe give it a little bit of time until the new playlists are in there if you don't necessarily like a ranked sweaty playlist. If you just want to relax, and you can only play those objective game modes so long before you get frustrated that your teammates aren't helping you. So big team battle is always a really great option, though, if you just love chaos and to have fun and run around the map. I know some people that's all they'll play and they have a blast. So it's really just about who you are as a gamer when it comes to Halo Infinite. I personally would definitely say give this game a shot. It is so fun, and they've done such a great job outside of those things that should not have launched with the game that we talked about, the battle pass and the microtransactions just being abysmal. If you don't care about cosmetics, that won't even affect you. Me personally, like I said, I bought the battle pass. It is what it is, but I'm not buying anything else out of the store, because at the end of the day, I have my team skins and I'm good with that, and I just want to play. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please consider liking, subscribing. Let me know in the comments how you felt about it. It's my first time ever doing something like this. I definitely think I could have done a better job. I did my best, though. If you hated the video, let me know. If there's things that you disagree with, agree with, or think that could have been better, let me know. I appreciate all the support. We just hit 216 subscribers. It's just crazy, because it feels like 2 weeks ago I had like 170. So there's some new faces around here. I appreciate all the love and everything. If you guys don't know, I do stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/RhythmActual. The next video that's going to be on the channel is going to be a basic stronghold video, and then we're going to do our advanced capture the flag video, and then we're going to do an advanced stronghold video, and in between all of that, we're also going to do a beginner's guide to Slayer and how to play it better. So if those are topics and videos that you all are interested in, please hit that subscribe button. That way you can follow along on the channel. Catch all my socials and my Discord in the description below. I appreciate everything again. Thanks, and have a good one.